Listen, there's a moment that comes to every married man whether he admits it or not. You're lying there at 3 a.m, staring at the ceiling while she sleeps next to you, and something in your gut whispers that the ground beneath your feet isn't as solid as you thought. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, that cold sensation when you realise the woman who shares your bed might already be halfway out the door in her mind. And here's what kills me, what absolutely destroys me when I work with men who come to me broken, shattered, saying I never saw it coming. Brother, you did see it. You just chose to look away. You chose to call a wolf a dog because it was easier than admitting you'd let a predator into your home. Let me paint you a picture that will either save your marriage or save you from wasting another 5 years of your life. Imagine there's a black box sitting on your kitchen table right now, and inside that box is a recording of every moment your woman showed you exactly who she was, every single red flag you explained away, every gut feeling you buried under excuses. Would you have the courage to open it? Would you have the balls to listen to yourself ignoring the obvious? Because that's what we're about to do right now. We're going to crack open that box and look at the 7 signs that your wife isn't just thinking about betrayal, she's already rehearsing it in her mind. I remember sitting with my friend when I was 32. He was going through his second divorce, and he said something that branded itself into my brain like a hot iron on cattle hide. He said, "Bro, a woman's betrayal is like watching a building collapse in slow motion. You see every crack, every support beam bending, every window starting to shatter, but you stand there hoping gravity will suddenly reverse itself." That man taught me more about relationships in that moment than any book or seminar ever could. Because he was right. Betrayal doesn't announce itself with trumpets and declarations. It whispers, it tiptoes, it smiles at you while sharpening the knife. You see, men have this catastrophic blind spot when it comes to betrayal. We think betrayal is only when she ends up in another man's bed, when she packs her bags and leaves, when you find those text messages that make your stomach drop to your feet. That's not betrayal, my friend, that's the funeral. The actual death happened months or years ago when you weren't paying attention, when you were too busy being understanding, too busy being the good guy, too busy swallowing your pride and calling it maturity. Real betrayal, the kind that matters, starts with tiny cracks that you paint over with hope and wishful thinking. So let's talk about the first sign, and this one is so obvious it's almost insulting that I have to spell it out, but here we are. When life punches you in the face, when you're down on your knees bleeding, whether it's sickness, business failure, loss of a job, whatever catastrophe life throws at you, watch what she does, not what she says, what she actually does. I had this realization during the worst food poisoning of my life, 3 years into my first serious relationship. I was basically dying in my bathroom, couldn't keep water down, thought I might actually need an ambulance, and where was she? She was at her friend's birthday dinner because, and I quote, "You're a grown man, you can handle it." Listen to me very carefully now, because this is where most men fail the test. They think, well, she has her own life, she can't drop everything for me. I need to be strong, I need to be independent. Bullshit, complete and utter bullshit. You know what my grandmother did when my grandfather had the flu? She slept on the floor next to his bed for a week, made him soup every 4 hours, read him the newspaper because his eyes hurt. That's love, that's partnership, that's someone who's in it with you till the end. Your woman leaving you alone when you're vulnerable isn't independence, it's abandonment, it's betrayal in its purest form. And if she can abandon you when you're sick, trust me, she'll abandon you for much less when the opportunity presents itself. But you know what men do? They swallow it, they make excuses, they say things like, "Well, when I recovered she was so happy, she really does care." No, she came back because you're useful again. You're back to being the provider, the rock, the ATM machine with a pulse. A woman who disappears during your darkest moments has already shown you her capacity for betrayal. She's already demonstrated that her comfort, her plans, her convenience is more important than your well-being. And then these same men are shocked, absolutely devastated when she leaves them 3 years later for a guy she met at yoga class. The second sign, and this one makes my blood boil every single time I hear it, is when she starts taking your money without asking. Not borrowing, not discussing, taking. I'm talking about going into your wallet, transferring money from joint accounts, using your credit cards for things you never approved, and here's the kicker. When you confront her about it, she turns it into your fault. "We're married, what's yours is mine," or "I needed it, and you would have said no," or my personal favourite, "After everything I've sacrificed for you, I deserve this." Let me tell you about a client of mine, successful guy, owns 3 restaurants, worked his arse off for 15 years to build his empire. One day he discovers his wife has been siphoning money from the business account. We're talking $60,000 over 6 months. When he confronted her, you know what she said? She said she was building a security fund because she never knew if he would leave her. Think about that for a second. She stole from him because she was planning for the day she wouldn't be with him anymore. And this fool, this absolute fool he forgave her, said it was a misunderstanding, said they needed to work on trust. 6 months later, guess what? She filed for divorce and tried to claim half his business plus the money she stole as marital assets. You see what I'm saying? When a woman takes your money without asking, she's not borrowing from a partner, she's collecting what she thinks she's owed. She's already mentally calculating her exit package. She's already decided that your money is compensation for being with you. That's not a wife, that's a prostitute with a marriage certificate, and I don't care how harsh that sounds, it's the truth that needs to be said. Here's what kills me about this whole money situation. Men will call the police if a stranger steals $50 from them, but when their wife steals $50,000, they call it a rough patch. You're literally financing your own betrayal. You're paying for the knife she's going to stick in your back, and you're doing it with a smile on your face because you're afraid of being alone, afraid of admitting you married a thief. The third sign, and pay attention because this one is subtle but deadly, is when she starts doing things behind your back that she knows you wouldn't approve of. I'm not even talking about cheating yet. I'm talking about the groundwork, the practice runs, the little betrayals that prepare her for the big one. She starts going out with her single friends more often. She joins a gym and suddenly needs 2 hours for a 45-minute class. She has work meetings that run late, but she can't quite explain what the meeting was about. She's texting but angles the phone away from you. You know what this reminds me of? When I was a kid, we had a dog that started killing chickens at the neighbour's farm. At first, it was just 1 chicken, and we said it was an accident, the dog didn't mean it. Then it was 2, then 3, and by the time we admitted we had a problem, that dog had killed 20 chickens. Your woman testing boundaries is the same thing. She's seeing what she can get away with. She's building her confidence for bigger betrayals. She's teaching herself that deceiving you is not only possible but easy. And here's the real mind game. When you catch her in these small deceptions, she makes you feel crazy for questioning her. You're so controlling. You're paranoid. Why don't you trust me? Let me tell you something about trust. Trust isn't blind faith. Trust is earned through consistent, transparent behavior. And if someone is asking you to trust them while actively hiding things from you, they're not asking for trust. They're asking for permission to betray you. The fourth sign is when she starts creating conflicts to justify taking breaks or space from the relationship. This is genius-level manipulation, and I've seen it so many times it makes me sick. She picks a fight about something completely irrelevant. Maybe you forgot to take out the trash or you looked at another woman for half a second, and suddenly it's World War III. She storms out, says she needs space, needs to think, needs to stay with her parents or friends for a few days. You know what she's really doing? She's creating an alibi for betrayal. She's giving herself a hall pass to do whatever she wants because technically you're on a break. Technically she was upset with you. Technically it's your fault she ended up in some other situation. I knew a guy whose wife did this every few months like clockwork. She'd blow up over nothing, disappear for a weekend, come back refreshed and forgiving. He thought she was just emotional, needed time to cool off. Turns out she had a boyfriend in another city, and these fights were her travel schedule. But even if she's not physically cheating during these breaks, she's still betraying you. She's teaching you that the relationship exists on her terms, that she can punch in and out whenever she feels like it, that your stability and security in the relationship is less important than her emotional whims. A woman who truly loves you doesn't need breaks from you. She needs breaks with you. She wants to face problems together, not run away every time things get difficult. The fifth sign, and this one is particularly insidious, is when she starts elevating other people's opinions above yours. Suddenly her father thinks you should do this. Her brother says that's a bad investment. Her friend's husband would never act like that. Her co-worker thinks you're being unreasonable. She's building a jury of people who will validate her when she finally betrays you. She's creating a support network for her exit strategy. She's making sure that when she leaves, she'll have a chorus of voices telling her she did the right thing. I watched this happen to my cousin over 3 years. His wife slowly started bringing her family into every decision, every argument, every aspect of their marriage. If he said no to something, she'd run to daddy. If he had an opinion, she'd check with her sisters first. By the time she left him, her entire family was convinced he was a monster. even though the poor guy's biggest crime was working 60 hours a week to pay for the lifestyle she demanded. When a woman starts outsourcing her loyalty, when she needs other people to validate her feelings about you, she's already emotionally divorced from you. She's not your partner anymore, she's a committee member, and you're always outvoted. This is betrayal of the highest order because she's not just betraying your trust, she's betraying the sacred boundary of your marriage, she's inviting spectators into what should be a private game. The sixth sign is the constant small lies, the little deceptions that seem harmless, but are actually cancer cells multiplying in your relationship. She says she was at the store but her car was spotted at a coffee shop. She says she didn't buy anything but there are shopping bags in the closet. She says her phone died but you saw her posting on social media. Each lie by itself seems insignificant, not worth fighting about, not worth creating drama over. But here's what you need to understand about liars. Lying isn't just something they do, it's who they are. It's like saying a fish swims, a bird flies, a liar lies. When someone shows you they're comfortable deceiving you about small things, they're showing you their character. They're showing you that truth is negotiable, that reality is flexible, that your peace of mind is less important than their convenience. I once dated a woman who lied about everything, even things that didn't matter. She'd lie about what she had for lunch, about what time she woke up, about conversations she had with people. At first I thought she was just forgetful, maybe a bit scattered. Then I realised she was practicing, she was keeping her deception skills sharp, she was making sure that when the big lie came, she'd be ready. And sure enough, when I finally caught her cheating, she lied with such conviction that for a moment I actually questioned what I saw with my own eyes. The seventh and final sign, and this is the nuclear bomb of betrayal indicators, is when you can feel in your bones that she doesn't love you, she's just using you. You know that feeling, that hollow sensation when she kisses you, and it feels like a business transaction when she says I love you, and it sounds like she's reading from a script when you look in her eyes and see calculation instead of affection. But here's where men become their own worst enemy. They know she doesn't love them, they can feel it in every interaction, but they convince themselves that maybe her love is just different. Maybe she shows it in other ways. Maybe if they just try harder, do more, be better, she'll finally love them the way they need to be loved. Let me tell you something that will save you years of pain. A woman who doesn't love you but stays with you is already committing the ultimate betrayal. She's stealing your time, your opportunity to find real love, your chance at genuine happiness. She's using you as a placeholder, a wallet, a status symbol, a roof over her head, whatever utility you provide, but she's not giving you her heart because she doesn't have it to give, at least not to you. And when someone better comes along, someone who makes her feel what you never could, she'll leave so fast it'll make your head spin, and she won't feel bad about it because in her mind she never really betrayed you. She was never really yours to begin with. You see, when a woman uses you without loving you, every day is a betrayal. Every I love you is a lie. Every moment of intimacy is a performance. And the saddest part is that deep down, you know it. You know it when she turns away from you in bed. You know it when she never initiates affection. You know it when her friends seem to pity you. You know it when she talks about the future, and you can tell she's not really seeing you in it. But men stay because they're afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid of admitting they failed, afraid of what people will think. So they become willing participants in their own betrayal. They help her use them, they make it easy for her to pretend. They lower their standards until merely having someone, anyone, seems better than having no one. Let me tell you what happens to these men. They wake up at 45, 50, 55 and realise they've spent decades with someone who is just passing time. Their kids barely know them because she poisoned that well too. Their friends are gone because she isolated them. Their money is gone because she spent it or took it in the divorce. Their confidence is gone because you can't spend years with someone who doesn't love you and come out whole. They're shells of men, hollowed out by a slow-motion betrayal that they saw coming but couldn't admit. Now you might be sitting there thinking, okay, but what if she shows some of these signs but not all of them? What if it's not that clear-cut? What if I'm overreacting? Let me stop you right there. You're not overreacting, you're underreacting. Every single one of these signs is a blazing red flag, a siren, a warning shot across the bow of your marriage. One of these signs means you have a problem. 2 means you have a serious problem. 3 or more means you're not in a marriage, you're in a hostage situation, and she's just waiting for the right moment to pull the trigger. Here's what I learned from watching hundreds of men go through this. Betrayal isn't an event, it's a process. It starts with small boundary violations, little disrespects, tiny abandonments. Each one seems forgivable. Each one seems like something you can work through, but they accumulate like compound interest, building on each other until one day the debt is called in and you lose everything. The woman who will betray you doesn't wake up one morning and decide to destroy your life. She's been destroying it slowly, methodically, testing your limits, seeing how much you'll tolerate, how much disrespect you'll swallow, how many red flags you'll explain away. She's been interviewing for your replacement while you've been trying to save the relationship. She's been building her exit strategy while you've been building a future. And the most painful part, the part that keeps men up at night for years after it happens, is realizing that they knew. They knew something was wrong, they felt it in their gut, they saw the signs, but they chose comfort over truth. They chose the familiar pain over the unknown. They chose to believe the lies because the truth was too scary to face. So what do you do if you recognize these signs in your relationship? First, stop lying to yourself. Stop making excuses for her behavior. Stop believing that love conquers all, or that things will get better if you just try harder. If she's showing these signs, she's already told you who she is and what she's capable of. Believe her. Second, protect yourself. Document everything. Start paying attention to where money goes. Keep records of her behavior, her lies, her abandonments. Not because you're planning for war, but because when war comes, and if these signs are present, it will come, you need to be prepared. Too many men get blindsided not by the betrayal itself, but by how calculated and prepared she was while they were sleeping. Third, and this is the hardest part, be willing to walk away. I know you've invested years, maybe decades. I know you have kids, a house, a life together. But staying with someone who's already betraying you, who's already shown you they're capable of destroying you, that's not love, that's not commitment, that's fear, and fear is no foundation for a relationship. The truth is, once these patterns are established, they rarely change. A woman who abandons you when you're weak will do it again. A woman who steals from you will steal again. A woman who lies to you will lie again. A woman who doesn't love you will never suddenly start. You can't love someone into loving you back. You can't sacrifice enough to make someone loyal. You can't be good enough to make someone honest. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine you're 5 years in the future and you ignored all these signs. You stayed. You tried harder. You convinced yourself it would get better. Now you're sitting in an empty apartment, half your money gone, seeing your kids every other weekend, starting over at an age when you thought you'd be settled. And you're looking back at this moment, this exact moment when you could have saved yourself but didn't. How would future you feel about present you? What would he want to tell you? He'd want to tell you that the pain of leaving is temporary, but the pain of staying with someone who betrays you is permanent. He'd want to tell you that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel alone. He'd want to tell you that there are women out there who will love you properly, who will stand by you when you're weak, who will respect your money and your boundaries, who will tell you the truth even when it's difficult, who will actually love you instead of just using you. But these women, these good women, they're not looking for a man who accepts betrayal, who tolerates disrespect, who enables bad behavior. They're looking for a man who knows his worth, who sets boundaries, who walks away from situations that diminish him. You can't attract quality while you're accepting garbage. You can't find real love while you're settling for its counterfeit. The choice is yours, and it's a choice you make every single day. Every time she abandons you and you take her back, you're choosing. Every time she lies and you pretend not to notice, you're choosing. Every time you feel that hollow feeling where love should be and you ignore it, you're choosing. You're choosing to be a victim of betrayal rather than a man who refuses to be betrayed. Remember what I said at the beginning about that black box on your kitchen table? That box is your life, your actual life, not the fantasy you've created to make it bearable, but the reality of what you're living. And every day you don't open it, every day you don't face the truth is another day closer to the inevitable betrayal that's coming. Because it is coming. If these signs are present, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The only question is whether you'll be the one who ends it on your terms, with your dignity intact, with your resources protected, with your future in your own hands, or whether you'll wait until she decides to end it on her terms, after she's taken everything she can, after she's destroyed your reputation, after she's moved on to the next guy while you're still trying to figure out what happened. I'll leave you with this thought. Every man who's ever been betrayed by his wife had warning signs. Every single one. The difference between the men who recover and thrive and the men who never recover isn't what happened to them, it's when they decided to stop accepting it. The sooner you acknowledge the truth, the sooner you can start building a life based on reality instead of wishes, on strength instead of fear, on self-respect instead of desperate need. Your future self is watching you right now, hoping you'll have the courage to see what's right in front of you. hoping you'll have the strength to do what needs to be done, hoping you'll choose yourself for once instead of choosing someone who's already chosen to betray you. Don't let him down. Don't let another day, another month, another year pass living a lie. Open the box, face the truth, and take back control of your life. Because if you don't, I promise you, one day you'll wake up and realize that while you were busy loving someone who didn't love you back, life passed you by. And that, my friend, is the ultimate betrayal, the one you commit against yourself.